starting to pick up all the early literacy skills and are probably coming home talking, or if it's like my son, not coming home and talking about things, but as you ask them, you might be starting to hear some of the things they're doing at school. So the purpose of this session is just to give you a little brief knowledge of how we teach literacy at school, because it may well be very different to what you remember, and also a little bit of then how you can support at home. So I'm kind of going to go right from the beginning and then talk very briefly about something called Cafe Reading, which is a whole school programme, and Talk for Writing, which is what we do for our writing programme in Foundation to Grade 2. So, to begin with, I'll just grab my notes so I don't forget anything. So, at the moment, we use, you've probably heard a lot in the media and different outlets about phonics and maybe even the science of reading. And basically, we do teach our children very early on about phonics, and phonics being basically how they hear the sounds in words, and then we do two skills. We blend the sounds together to read words, and then we do segmenting, which is can you hear and then recognise the sounds in order to write. And they're the basic skills, but we'll show you how it kind of all connects together. So to begin with, we're using a new program called Twinkle Phonics. All phonics programs are fairly similar. And we introduce to the children the letters in a format like this. So when we were at school, it was very much the alphabet. We still talk about the alphabet, and we certainly still talk about the letter name, but the focus is on the sound it makes. So when we introduce this to the children, we will tell them, this is letter T, but what we focus on is it makes a sound T, T. So that's what they will really practice. And just to help them remember this, we will have this picture of the teacup and the teaspoon, and we do this action. So if you see them doing little actions, that's the actions they've been learning in class as the sounds are introduced. And then this is the letter A, and it makes the sound A. This is a letter P, and it makes the sound P, and we're stroking a puppy. And then what we do lots of recognition of that. So we might have our fly swatters out, and we have the sounds on the floor, and we will say a sound, how quickly can the children swat that sound. They particularly like as well, sometimes we just do an action, or some of the children come up and do an action. So they may just do this action, and they've got to guess what sound they're doing the action for. So just lots of different games so that they get quick recall of these. What's great with the way that we teach the phonics is as soon as we've introduced the first 5 sounds, and you might think, why aren't they introduced in order of the alphabet? So what we do is we introduce these sounds first, S-A-T-P-I-N. And the reason we do that is once you have 5 sounds, you can already start to what we call blend and segment. So if we look here, what we then do with the children is, and they're so excited because we say, you can now read, and we say, let's have a go. And we've got, and what we do, these are sound buttons. So if you see them ever drawing little dots underneath letters, they're called sound buttons. So what we do is, as we press the button, it makes the sound. So we've got S, I, T. And then we practice, it's a roller cola trick where we stretch the word down our arm. So we've got S, it, S, it, S, it, and we're slowly trying to push it together. So that's blending, and that's the real basics of reading. And another one, man. They also then start to do segmenting, which is just the opposite. And it's learning how to write words with the sounds that they've been learning. So the children have come in this morning, and I actually stole this from the table because this is what they were doing as they entered the classroom this morning. So what they've got is they've got a little sound strip here, which has got the picture to match the letters that have been introduced. And then they come in on a morning, and they've got to look at the picture, and say the sound for that picture. So we're going to go, pirate begins with a P. And if we can't remember what a P looks like, we've got the visual here to find it, and they'll remember the puppy. That's the P sound. And then igloo, it, and pan, pip. So they're actually having a go at using things to write. And we might say to them, also, we might have, we say the sounds in the word. Who can find the pan? And they've got to blend together to find the pan. So it's all coming together sort of very early on. And we're practicing letter formation at the same time. Now what we do alongside this is these are called the open sight words, and they're just, sometimes you hear them as just sight words, high frequency words. They're basically the words that you will see a lot in some of the first books that you read, and also some of the words you might need to write that you start writing sentences. So the first words here are what come home in the take-home books that you've got, and these are the pink words. And I'm going to show you a PowerPoint in a second, which Mrs. Pike put together, which is what she does with the children in class. Because what we've got with the pink words, we've got some words that we can do our sound buttons for. We've got some decodable words. So we can use this skill to help us read the words. But some of the words are complete sight words. So we show the children that if we did it doesn't work. So there are some words that we call our tricky heart words, and we have to learn by heart. And the reason we do these as well is it really helps with fluency, because they've got some words that then they know quickly, just like that. And how we've now been doing it in class, there we go. And Miss Pike's children, well, both classes, but I went into Mrs. Pike's to see this, and they were so fast and so excited. So we've just got, here we go. So we have separated the pink words into quick as a flash words. So basically they're the words that, yes, we can sound them out. We can use our sound buttons. We can say the sounds and push it together. But we want to be doing them so fast that it becomes, we just know them. So we call them quick as a flash, and when we first start learning them, we sound it out slowly, and then each day they'll go through this and see how quickly they can do it. So we've got is, at, no, in, on. These are the words that we can sound out. So although we can say k, can, we want them to just, oh, can, it's quick as a flash, I know that one. And then we move on to the tricky heart words. And these are the really tricky ones that they might have to practice a little bit more. These are the ones that our sounding out will not work for. So again, when you know, and what's interesting, the sounding out will not work for look. But as we go on our phonics journey and we start to learn two letters that come together to make one sound, a digraph, then that will move over, and my children used to really enjoy that. It will move from the tricky heart word to the quick as a flash, because we can sound it out. So it depends where they are on their phonics journey. But this, at the moment, are their tricky heart words, and that's really helping them to distinguish. Sometimes I have to just remember a word. Sometimes I've got other skills I can use. So, and what we suggest is when the pink words come home, or the red words, is to play lots of games with them. I often like to cut them up, put them on the floor, play memory games, play fly swatting games, put them up around the house, have a treasure hunt, just to make it fun, and also because they learn the order. The children are very clever, and they learn where the words are, and suddenly you switch them round and it's, oh, I don't know that now, so try to trick them a little bit. So that's kind of how we introduce the phonics to the children. And I'm just going to show you how it comes together in the reading, because we've then got, So at the moment, the children have been bringing home a little decodable text, a photocopied one. So we've got a mixture of books at school. These ones are decodable. So these are the ones where you might have a couple of tricky heart words in, but a lot of it is going to be words that they can sound out. So it's really practicing that skill. These ones are called PM readers, and we've just ordered lots more of these. And what's great about these is they follow the order that we do the words follows the scheme. So the early books will have pink words in only. As they go up, they'll have pink and red, and it will keep going. So what's great with these books is they're not just learning these words out of context, they're actually seeing them in books that they read. And I'll just show you very quickly the difference between the decodable and the this is just your traditional reader, where there's more sequencing and patterns. So I'll just show the difference very quickly. So if we look, this is a typical decodable book, and it tells you the sounds that they are focusing on, being J, W, and Z. So if this kind of book comes home, there's lots and lots of sounding out, so they won't know this word. It's not quick as a flash word. They'll have to sound it out. So we've got L, is, Liz. We've got to sound out got. In to actually comes up as a red word, so they might know that a little bit quicker, and then they have to sound out bed. As we read with them, because they'll be sounding out every word, it becomes quite disjointed. We always get them, once they've sounded out each word and got to the end of the sentence, go back and then read the whole sentence. So these books are really, really practicing their decodable phonics skills. There we go. And these are practicing introducing the letter Z as well. What we've also got, this is an online version of the PM readers, and all the children have access to this as well, so that they can also look at some of these books online. So these are the ones that will have lots of the pink words and the red words in. So if I just came down to, just go here. And what's great about this is we use lots of our different skills here. So if we just go on to here, so Harry is here, so we've got is and here from the pink words, but you can be reminded them, yes, they're pink words, quick as a flash. Mum is here too, so lots of the pink words in there. So that's the main difference, look being a red word, at the being a pink word. And what we do, bringing in then our cafe reading, which is what we do through the school, that stands for comprehension. I understand what I hear and read. Accuracy, I can read letters, sounds and words. Fluency, I use all my skills to read, and we often put our punctuation in there as well. So if we see an exclamation mark, how we read differently. This changes as you go through school, because from year 1 and beyond, it's expanding vocabulary and I learn new words. In foundation, it's exploring books. So it's just about how to handle a book, how to read from left to right, top to bottom, and those kind of things. If we look at accuracy here, we've got Stretchy Snake, which is something the children will learn next term. Stretchy Snake means I have to use this strategy. I have to say the sounds and stretch them out. So these are some of the things that we will start to learn, and they have characters, and we'll send things home about this as we go with it. The comprehension, we're using our eagle eye, and that means when we're reading, we're looking at the picture as well and talking about what we see and what's happening. We're making predictions, which is really good to stop as you're reading and say, what do you think might happen next? And questioning Al is always asking questions, coming up with questions before and during reading. So why did the character do that? Why is he feeling sad? What could change? So here, when we're looking here, so let's say we come to this word here, and we say, look at the little, and then we're a little bit stuck there. So, okay, let's use our eagle eye to look at the picture. And also we have something called lips the fish, which you'll find all about next term. And lips the fish means get your lips ready to say the first sound in the word. So it would be look at the little R. It starts with an R, so we're saying, and what starts with that sound on the page. So it all comes together and we give them lots of strategies to what to do if we don't know a word. Or you could say, can we have a go at stretchy snake? Will using our sounds help us? So that's reading in a nutshell, and how it progresses through the year levels. When we're doing reading sessions, we're looking at those 4 aspects of reading. Does anybody have a question? And don't we, as you go on, have conversations with the teachers. What we'll do as we start to introduce this cafe reading, we send home a little bit more information about what's happening, and that we are going to start sending home, I'm hoping maybe this week, they'll be getting a decodable book and one of the little PM books as well to practice all the different skills, and it just helps if you know a bit about it. And I do want to mention Talk for Writing, because it's fairly new. Last year was the first year we trialled it, and it's been really fabulous, and I think will have a great impact on writing throughout the school. So Talk for Writing, it's developed by a guy called Ty Corbett in the UK, and it's all about developing oral language skills enabled to then develop writing skills. And what we do is we learn a text first of all. So it might be a traditional story, but we've shortened it down a little bit. And that's called the imitation phase. We're imitating something. We then innovate it. So this is an imitation of we're going on the bear hunt. But the children learn it because they follow the pictures. So we've got once upon a time, there was a family, and this means who, and they get to know that, who lived in a house in the forest. And then they learn to pause at the full stop as well. Early one morning, they decided to go on a bear hunt, and we'd have different actions for that. This is from last year, so I can't remember what all our things were for. But what's really important is these are called time connected. So first, they saw the long wavy grass, and then we've got next, and then we've got after that. So the children act these out, and we have the signs in the classroom. We've got later on and finally. So what happens then is they start to learn how to sequence a narrative very early on, but it's all orally to start with. And we go out and we look for bear hunt clues. So they did Humpty Dumpty recently, and that's when they had it set up that there'd been a crime scene, so we have a hook to start. What's great as well here is this is imitation. We then innovate, which means we just change 1 or 2 things. So for this one, we might not be going on a bear hunt anymore. I think we went on a unicorn hunt or something. It was the children came up with the idea. So we would change this, post-it note over, everything else stays the same. You might change the wood, but we're going on a unicorn hunt. So then what would probably change next? As they go through year 1 and 2, they'll make more changes. In foundation, we just change simple things. So the long wavy grass would be something else. The cold, damp, deep, cold river would be something else. The thick, oozy mud. So we just change those bits, and we do it as a class. The children then get off to go and do their own, and they would have this map, but with blank spaces to put their own innovations in. And what we do is we usually put the story map that we're doing on Seesaw, or we send a copy home so that they can practice it with you at home as well. So we're really excited by this, and it's really got the children learning how to structure their writing, and we do the same if we're doing a persuasive piece or an information piece. So I just thought I would finish with I think it's about a 3-minute video of a school in the UK that have just filmed this process and how it moves on. It is a grade 1 class. I couldn't find a foundation example. Here we go. And they were doing the gingerbread man, I think.
School, we use Talk for Writing to teach English.
So we're going to show you in this video how we teach the Gingerbread Man as a Talk for Writing unit.
First of all, we rewrote the story, so we shortened it down and we used more appropriate vocabulary to suit the children's ability.
Next, we made a story map using pictures that represented words and some phrases from the story. For example, once upon a time, there lived an old lady.
In Year 1, our focus was on ordering the story, using full stops and using time connectors. So on our story map, we included full stops to model sentence structure, and we wrote out the time connectives as words.
The main focus during the first week is for the children to learn the story off by heart, so that by the end of the unit, they'll be able to write the whole story independently.
To do this, the children learnt actions which were linked to the pictures on the story map to enable them to remember the different events that happened in the story.
We then took the children into our outdoor classroom where they acted out the story using masks.
Tossed them into the air and eaten them.
Then the children made the storyboards by sorting pictures of the beginning, middle and ending, and they wrote a sentence to match each event.
We were able to differentiate this by giving some children 4 events to order and other children 6.
Once we were confident that the children knew the story by heart, their task was to write the story using their...
And so this bit they will do in Year 1. They will then write the story in foundation. We won't do that part yet. We actually get there though at the end of the year, which is really exciting.
story map as a reference.
In week 2, we shared ideas as a class and changed the main characters of the story. For example, we changed the old lady to an evil dragon, the gingerbread man became the ice cream man, the horse became a spotty dog, the cow became a cranky bear, and the fox became a rude crocodile. To develop the children's ideas further, we asked them to choose one of the new characters, draw a picture of it into their books, and write adjectives around it to describe the character.
Over the next 3 days, the children wrote out the beginning, middle and ending of the story using the new characters and adjectives to match.
In the final week, we gave the children the original story map, but with blank spaces on it so that they could create their own characters and add their own adjectives in order to create their own personal story.
As their final task, the children wrote out their own stories focusing on the order of events, full stops, adjectives and time connectives.
We hope you found the video helpful, and if you have any questions...
So it just shows how the process develops. But yeah, so hopefully that's not too much, but I just wanted to show you how it all starts, and it progresses quite quickly, which is really exciting being in foundation. And although I'm not teaching in foundation this year, I'm managing to get to spend quite a bit of time in there, getting to know the children. But if you have any questions, feel free to see me or one of the teachers, or Bree or Kelly Jo, and we'll be happy to help. And if you want to have a little look through the books, then feel free to do that as well. But thank you so much for coming, and I will let you get back to your days. Thank you.